Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 810, More Tangents Than a Geometry Class, recorded live on January 27th, 2022. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your host, Godzilla T.
And I am Haas.
Haas is back! Hey!
We have a Haas!
Hey buddy, how's it been? He made it!
It's been busy, but it's been good.
I feel you. Last 2 weeks for me work-wise has been a slam.
Yeah. It's
and then
just
Mr. Family
interesting
Man over
times.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's all good.
Family.
So, gentlemen, how's everything been going Halo-wise? I actually played Halo Infinite multiplayer for the first time today in over a month.
I would like to hear your thoughts.
I will gladly share my thoughts. But before we do that, before we do my thoughts of it, let's do a little Podtacular update. GT, Fragging Friday. We did not do Halo Infinite last week. And yes, I actually joined for a change.
We did do Halo 5. I did not vote. Just to let you guys know, I did not vote.
And it was
the community
unanimous.
Voted for Halo 5. No, what? There was other votes.
Oh, there was one or two.
Yeah.
When I last checked, it was unanimous before. It was like 4 or
Halo
5 votes for Halo 5.
Halo 5 was picked. And then Halo 5 got played.
And
we did play Super Fiesta.
Yes.
We did get in one game of Warzone. 1 or 2 games of Warzone.
Do I dare say it?
Go ahead.
They were turbo times of Warzone.
Anyway.
It's been so long since I've actually done that on the podcast. Sorry for making you remove that pins after saying that we wouldn't ever play that again, and we just happened to play it last week. You all gave him probably a fair warning on that. You know what was coming.
The
podcast listeners, I'm sorry. I will duck that down.
I guess they're doing the regular Warzone. They're doing rotational. I don't know if it's just a random pick or they, like 1 week they do turbo and 1 week they do regular or what.
Yeah, I don't know because we're both of those. Do we?
I think
1 or 2 games. I think we did 2 turbo games.
Yeah, we did 2 turbo games. And, so I don't know. It was fun. Don't get me wrong.
It was a lot of fun. Super Fiesta and Warzone Turbo.
Gave me an excuse to pull out an Orfang.
There you go. That's nice.
The one I had left. Well, the one I had.
The one you have only ever gotten and you used. And
No, actually, I've gotten multiple Norfangs. But they're not quite as bad as Phaetons. I don't know what it is with that game and not giving me Phaetons. I will never finish the commendations for that game, Phaeton commendations for that game.
Because you just can't get them. That's frustrating. Well, that's good. Yeah, we had a good time on Friday. Lots of things blowing up with Super Fiesta weapons. Looking forward to
explosions.
If they ever do something like that with Halo Infinite, that'd be nice. There's the weapon variants in campaign. I
would like to see them bring the weapon variants into the Fiesta playlist.
At least,
yeah. Because really, don't get me wrong. I like Fiesta, but it's kind of the same as playing it in the Master Chief Collection.
It is.
Granted, you do get the random attachment or whatever they call it. You either get the repulsor or the grab hook or, the thruster.
Oh, the armor abilities.
Yeah. You do.
Equipment.
Sorry. Equipment, yeah. That gives you the added randomization, but it's still not Super Fiesta.
No.
People complain about the weapon sandbox in Halo 5, and I think you're stoned. Because that basically made the best game type that has ever come out of Bungie and or 343.
It's, I think, the funnest gun game mechanics of any Halo experience for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, when I actually finally got my hands on Infinite and played through it and saw the limited amount of weapons in it, I was really depressed. Just because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do Halo Infinite Super Fiesta.
Oh.
Now, I'm not saying that they won't add more weapons later. They may or may not. And they don't have to put them in matchmaking. I really don't care. Just customs and Super Fiesta. That's really all they need to be in there for.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
Yeah, and I mean, in old posts, they used to mention that, you know, adding weapons and stuff like that should be rather easy. So we'll see. I hope so.
I'm hoping it's just an initial wave of, you know, they're still kind of working on their rollout of initial content. And whenever we get to season 2, hopefully that will be another milestone of, hey, here's some more cool game modes. Here's some other. Is it Forge or co-op campaign that's coming out with season 2? I forget.
Co-op is season 2.
Forge is possibly
and
season
then
3.
Forge is later.
Or maybe they'll both come out season 2. Maybe if we're lucky. Maybe.
Don't hold your breath, but
yeah,
it would be
nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
You know, having Forge delayed 3 months is bad enough. 6 months is worse. Any more than that, it's not good.
Yeah,
I tell you what, when they launch Forge, when they launch Forge, it better blow Halo 5's Forge out of the water. Seriously,
it probably will. It probably will.
No, I mean like going from Halo 3 Forge to Halo 5 Forge blowout. It's going to have to be something really special.
There are things that Forgers will really like in Forge. I can't talk about it, but there are things.
You've already said too much. You're going to be getting a nasty letter now.
I gotta hype up the people, man. I gotta be my 343 sellout. I gotta put that hat on every once in a while.
I have confidence it's going to be a significant upgrade, but what's going to be there day one? Because I feel like right now the Infinite vibe I have is just like, okay, here's the basics, and don't worry, more will come later. And that's, you know, great, because this is a live service game and we want these things to keep coming and being added to and watch the game grow. But at the same time, right now, we are so content light and all these people are holding on for Forge. And it's like, what if Forge comes out, Forge light? And, you know, I'm expecting a step above 5. But, I mean, where 5 ended was a pretty good spot. So we just can't see it less than where 5 was. And that's where
definitely
I'm kind of worried that we're going to be in that situation, because they're going to be taking kind of like a careful approach to this.
And that's definitely a legitimate concern just with how Halo Infinite has launched. I mean, even how Halo 5 launched, you launched with 3 game modes with 1 variant, when you have this history of game modes. And we'll never know publicly how development has been for Infinite. Granted,
I mean, obviously, development for it's been very rough.
Yeah.
And having a pandemic going on in the middle of it did not help matters at all.
No.
They had big goals with Infinite, and I think even a normal 3-year cycle was going to be a stretch for Infinite regardless, even if we didn't have the pandemic.
There's a lot they were tooling on early on just with the engine.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't know until later than I thought that they weren't going to use Unreal from the articles that have kind of come out.
I mean,
they were going to use Unreal until, I don't want to say like a year or 2 ago, but
Yeah.
It was highly considered.
So there was a point where in like the early on in the development cycle, they were basically remaking Halo 5 in the engine, in the new engine. Like I remember during one sit down that they were basically showing off some capabilities of Halo 5 in the new engine. So they were really working on the engine for those first year or 2 years. And for the most part with the games, it's okay, you have this updates that you're making to the engine. If you take Halo 1 through 3, the core of that engine is the same for all those games. Of course, there's additions and tweaks on top of it.
Yep.
But the core of that engine was the same. And for Infinite, they really went down to the nuts and bolts and really stripped out everything and kept the essential pieces for this new engine. So, yeah.
The Blam engine's still there as a base, but they've built so much more to it.
Well, they've stripped away everything that they could to leave what is still the Halo feel, as far as like the netcode obviously is going to be a whole lot different. The physics engine is probably what's the underlying experience of Halo that probably still exists. Is the physics engine and some of the meta parts of like how to calculate certain things as far as damage tables, impacts, effects. It's like there's probably some of those bases that make up the foundation of the code, and then they have taken old parts off and put it on. So maybe like if you take the when you upgrade a car, if you replace all the parts, is it still the original car type of thing? There's probably 1 or 2 parts that's still the original, so they're still calling it the.
You have no idea how true that is. Like everybody knows, I work for a company that sells restoration parts. There is, and if you look at the early Ford Broncos, okay, these are the little
square ones. Where I was going, and GT's about to elaborate on this.
Okay, the original Ford Bronco, the direct competitor for the Jeep, the Willys Jeep. You now can buy the entire truck brand new, every piece of it. So people buy a Bronco, and they're buying the Bronco for the VIN number and the title. That's it. So is it the same truck?
Got the VIN on it.
Like I said, literally, the only thing that they're keeping from the original truck is the VIN plate on the dash and the title. So is it the same truck?
By law, with that title, yeah, it is.
So,
it's the Halo engine, the Halo engine? Yeah, it is.
It is the Halo engine, but
it's the Halo engine.
Is it the Halo engine?
It's got turbo, it's got nitro, it's got LEDs, it's got in-house surround sound, it's got a wet bar.
Went from a 4-cylinder to a 12-cylinder, automatic to a 6-speed.
There you go.
Anyways,
needless to say, tangent. Publicly, they'll probably never talk about the fine details of what time was spent in development, where, how far along they were before pandemic hit and whatnot. But investors also play a part into that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
that a lot of people at the studio probably wanted to wait until more things were ready, but they didn't. And I keep saying this over and over again. Good on them for at least hunkering down and trying to get the things that they could get out working.
Yep.
Minus the matchmaking issues, which I feel like. I feel.
I find that really weird.
Halo's not the only game that suffers from matchmaking issues at launch, and it also didn't help that they launched the game a week before all of Microsoft goes on holiday.
Yeah. What really gets me is that we have the Halo Infinite beta and everything works. Okay? I mean, big team works, bot matches work, the ranked works, everything works. Don't get me wrong, there were some small glitches, but, nothing game breaking. Then they launched the game and Big Team quits working. What'd they do?
Well, Big Team wasn't.
Big Team was there. And it was working.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
we were playing it on
the whole
Dragon
multiplayer
Fridays.
experience was there.
Well, it's just like Windows updates. You update one thing and you break 20 things.
The legacy of Microsoft.
That's not just Microsoft. That's just code. When you have
Like
billions and trillions of lines of code.
I mean, I don't know what all changed in the background, honestly. But, I mean, from our perspective, the only thing really changed is the beta got removed from the title. You know? It is now Halo Infinite Multiplayer, not Halo Infinite Multiplayer Beta. So, what switch did you guys flip?
Yeah.
That broke Big Team. It's just really weird. And I don't know if it was just the, additional influx of people actually hitting the game, now that it was officially released.
Holiday sales? I mean, everyone opened
it's a free-to-play multiplayer. You didn't have to sell anything.
I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think numbers spiked after the campaign launched. I think numbers spiked when multiplayer launched, and that's our peak. That's what I'm curious about, because
that's a good point.
I mean, campaign is obviously a draw to those who care, but let's be real. I mean, Steam had 250 plus thousand. You have all the Game Pass people, everybody on their Xboxes and all that. I don't think campaign really drew in those kinds of numbers. I mean, I could even pull up just Steam, because those are the only public numbers that will.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying the release of campaign brought them in, but the fact that the game was no longer called a beta. Like I said, right. I don't know what the multiplayer increase was between when it was beta and then when it was a full game. Yeah, I just don't have the numbers because I didn't look. And I'm just, what changed to break the game?
Could be anything.
Was there something in the beta that, was the code in the beta that much different than the code from the release game?
They probably tried to fix something that was an issue, and they broke two other things.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably what happened.
The numbers, on November 16th, there was 256,000 users on Steam. On December 8th, it peaked at 147. And then it is just...
So there was even less people on.
Yeah, it's just gone...
down since, I know.
Yeah. We don't need to harp on that.
Nope. Anyways, achieving Halo, since we didn't get to that yet, Bobby and I did some more Halo Wars, grinding out general rank. Did not find anybody else in matchmaking on Sunday, so managed to actually get quite a few matches done. So I think between the two of us, we have another 12 matches, maybe. So another 5-6 hours before we both get our last achievement in Halo Wars. So that should be fun.
Cool.
Haas, do you want to talk about what you've been up to lately, or should I go into my experience with multiplayer?
I would rather just hear what you have to say about your experience on Halo Infinite, because
okay.
And then Haas will be the Debbie Downer afterwards.
Someone a little jaded.
I'm just gonna say, I've put my hours in for now, so I'm kind of curious where you haven't been playing. So you're kind of coming in fresher, like you're not riding through all these highs and lows. You're obviously seeing them, but your experience is going to be a lot different because you haven't been dealing with the BTB issues and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious where you feel.
Okay. So today was the first day, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, that I touched Halo Infinite matchmaking, matchmaking in about a month. And I was playing attrition, so I wasn't doing any big team stuff. And I actually had fun with it. I only went in by myself. I went up with randoms, won 2 games, lost 1 game. I did go in and check. I was level 1 in the battle pass. I had 120 XP, so that was how far behind I was. And after the 3 games, I'm almost done with level 2. So it is very different, the progression between how it was and how it is now. So I wasn't crazy. I was actually level 1. Attrition is kind of cool, actually. Being able to, it does feel a little bit like Extermination from Halo 5, a little bit of that Breakout. Kind of take both of those and mash them together. That's kind of what you have with the lives pool in attrition. And the 3 rounds helps kind of balance things out a little bit. Had some good runs with some teammates, had some questionable runs. Overall, I actually did pretty well. And it was decent fun. Nothing that completely blew my mind out of the water, but it was nice to actually have kind of a different way of doing Slayer, and I kind of actually prefer it a little bit to just kind of the normal 50 grind. I mean, there is a place for the 50 grind, but just hopping in solo, I think I would much prefer attrition than Slayer. I think Slayer would be more of a get people together to play with and do that, and I'd probably have more fun Slayer-wise doing that. Again, I haven't played in a while, so mileage may vary when I actually decide to go in and actually get my first rank, because I still am not ranked yet either. That still hasn't happened yet, so but yeah.
I like attrition. Attrition is a pretty cool mode. Obviously there are elements in there that make me a little salty, but I the hybrid of Slayer and the one death mode, I mean, it's not a one death mode, but I like a lot of those elements. I kind of wish the final kill circle did more damage and would pick more than just dead center of the map, because I think that would be a cool element, just force a push, or maybe teams have to, maybe it's a smart hill that kind of goes to a middle ground, balance between the 2 teams, and it says, okay, here's a slot, and that'd be pretty neat. But it's early. I do hope this mode stays in. I think it would be a great addition to competitive if it took, like, not every Team Slayer slot, but like you said, it's kind of like a fresh change of the 50 grind, and get it in there, and see what some of these competitive teams can do with it. I think it'd be a really exciting, fun mode to see those comebacks when a team is out of lives early and somebody pulls off the clutch revive or something along those lines. That would be really, I think, a very exciting from a spectator standpoint.
I think you probably want to increase the lives pool for competitive if you did that. And I would also be curious to see if maybe doing the normal 50 kill Slayer, but having it where you do have that life pool at the end where, okay, if someone goes down, if you manage to pull a clutch comeback and revive your teammates, and you can kind of have this almost like a stalemate overtime scenario where it's like, okay, you really need to eliminate the other team in order to win. Curious how that would turn out.
I would at least like to see it tested. No issues with that. I kind of feel like the 20-ish range would be better with the rounds, because then you kind of are getting closer to that 50 life range. But
yeah,
and that would keep people moving, because one worry is if it's kind of like a higher skill level, would these guys just kind of like be more stationary in their play rather than aggressive? I feel if they have breathing room, they can kind of pull off a little bit more aggression when money's on the line, and you got to play smarter. So
yeah, when you have that life pool that you don't have to worry about early on, and then it starts dwindling down, because you had those times back in Halo 3 and Halo Reach MLG where you get down to those last 6 kills, and it is a standoff. It's whoever makes the wrong move is the one that's going to suffer, and then there's the 3-kill run, and then the other team makes the 3-kill run, and now it's 48-47, and there's just one person that sticks their head out, and there's one more, and it's now 49-47, and there's then the comeback, the 3, like someone just sneaks in right underneath someone's radar and manages to get, You don't see those too much these days, but at least
I think we're still early on in this Halo Infinite competitive world, and I think a lot of people are still figuring stuff out. It's pretty scary to see what Shyway comes up with for content every week. It seems like there's a new skill that Frosty or one of those guys, Renegade is currently like one of those like freaks right now. It's just like every slide I watched Shyway like pull it off. He got around streets in like less than a minute.
Wow.
Like just sliding, like going full outside through the middle. It made me feel really old and really slow. I'm not gonna lie. And it's been a while since I've seen a game or gameplay that has done that.
I wonder if because the gameplay is so rapid now and so quick that you don't get those standoffs as much anymore. Because going back to Halo 3 and Halo 2, it definitely feels a lot slower than Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Infinite. So I wonder if there is something to just how you play Halo now that those...
This game does seem to complement aggressive play more than it does slow standoff. It's smart, but still the aggressive play seems to be very well rewarded in this game. And I think that is by design, which is good. And because that keeps the excitement as a spectator up. And
makes it a lot more watchable.
Right. Because you're not like sitting here watching, I don't know how many of you remember the old Ghost Recon days where a match lasted an hour because nobody moved and it's just waiting for one person to peak. Like those matches were really boring to watch.
They were intense, and then the intensity just kind of slowly fizzles out.
Yeah,
something happens, and then you're like, "Oh, wait, something might happen."
I'm gonna go grab a burger. I'm done.
This will be a while.
Yeah.
I've always liked, back in the day, Halo 2 and Halo 3. Not that I liked Halo 3's multiplayer. They even back then they always felt kind of slow paced to me. Like that 15-minute timer seemed like it was half hour.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Halo 4 came along. Well, even in Reach, it picked up the pace. The pace seemed to pick up a little bit.
Sprint, man.
Well, I mean, that did play a part in it. But the aggressiveness of the player changed in Reach as well. Because now you have all these abilities that aren't pickups, and you can be more tactful, be more aggressive in your attacks. Like with the armor lock. I mean, you can become invulnerable for a brief amount of, you're immobile, but, still.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody throws a grenade at you, you can armor lock, not take any damage off of it, and then continue the fight. But yeah, it's progressively gotten a lot more fast-paced, and I honestly enjoy it a lot better. I always enjoyed the pace of the gameplay when it came to Halo 5.
Halo 5 is fun. I mean, multiplayer, it hits the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me. I mean, gameplay, movement mechanics. I mean, Super Fiesta is kind of a testament to, I think, everything that Halo 5 culminated to. That and Warzone Turbo.
Well, I mean, even the regular game modes are fun to play.
Oh yeah.
I would, when they actually gave out rank packages, I'd always go in and I would rank up in, I'd get my rank in free-for-all. I'd play my 10 matches, and even after that, I would still play free-for-all. And I had fun. It was enjoyable. Frustrating as hell sometimes.
Yeah, right. After a time, for both Halo 5 and the Master Chief Collection, it's been fun to play. And I guess I'm holding out hope a little bit that Infinite gets to that point. Because it is still early on. Granted, you could have your arguments of they should have had more content at launch. Yeah, they always could, and they probably wanted to, but investors, timelines, constraints, COVID, whatever is in the way there. But I mean, everyone at 343 is passionate about it. They've all played the games. They all want all these experiences to come back. It's not like they're intentionally holding things out. It's just you can only do so much so quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm hopeful that a lot of these things that people are asking about will come to fruition. And guess what? 343 just cut all the store prices in half last week. So they're listening and they're making changes, and they pushed out 2 BTB updates in a week.
They updated the store last week, and then they changed it again. They're testing a couple different ways of handling the store. Last week, I thought was all right. This week, not so good. They kind of did this like individual item or like smaller bundle, where last week was more like a huge significant price cut, and last week felt a lot better than this week has.
Well, they're trying out the suggestions that the community's given them.
Yeah, they said they were going to be trying multiple things the rest of the season.
I've heard community members saying they would like to be able to buy a piece of armor, not have to buy a set of armor.
I think it would almost be nice to give people, like, say 400 credits or something like that, and just say, we're going to try something out. Here's something you can test with. I mean, granted, that would stick and probably take from the pool, but...
they've also talked about rewarding credits for play.
For Season 2, yes.
So that's something that's coming. So potentially, who knows how many credits you're going to get, but potentially you could save your credits up through the season and buy the next season.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That is one big thing. They did say that that's coming.
For Season 2, yes.
Next season's Battle Pass will have credits, which is good. That is a change.
I don't know if they said they
wasn't even.
I don't know if they said it will have it, or if they said that.
No, they did say they will have it.
Okay.
They're definitely trying different things, because obviously the first iteration pissed a lot of people off. And fair enough, but for me, the pricing was an issue, but it wasn't the issue.
Yeah, I agree.
The issue with the store and the customization is how locked down it is.
How inflexible the customization system is. Yeah.
Yeah. I've said this 100 times. They compared this customization system to Reach's customization, and they're dead wrong.
Yeah, that was...
Yes, the pieces are there, but you are very locked down to what you can do in Infinite compared to what you could do in Reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the customizability is not the same.
Honestly, don't get me wrong. I'm happy with what they're doing with the store, because it did need some work. But I'm waiting to see what they do for the actual customization, on freeing up the resources to allow people to do things the way they want to. And, honestly, I don't really care if I put on a set of arms and a chest where it leaves a hole in my shoulder. If it's what I want to, if it's the set that I want to look at, then that's fine. That's why Spartans have undersuits.
Yeah.
I've been kind of thinking about, like, what does the ideal store look like to me? And my store...
People can get very opinionated on that real quick.
So my ideal store, the prices the way they were fine to me. Like, if you look at the industry as a whole, you have that 25, primarily 20, 15, 10, and $5 items. You have those in your store. I think what should have been done, because of Halo's legacy of customization, the big, $20 item or whatever, it's a bundle. You get a bunch of different items, the seven, let's say 5 to 7 items. Let us go into that bundle and buy specific things. Yeah, if you buy each piece individually, it's going to equate to more than if you bought the whole bundle complete. But you're allowed to buy these items at a cheaper price. If you only want a visor, let us buy that one visor inside this bundle for, say, $2 or $3 rather than $20. Say you save 20% by buying everything together rather than, one item.
You have 7 things in the bundle, but each individual item costs $5.
Yeah, right. And, we'll say 5 for now, but
Yeah, I'm just,
but I think that
nice round
that
number.
is the best way to do it because Halo fans are all about customization. And yes, other games you can buy like a bundle where you get like Fortnite, you get like a little parachute, you get your character skin and a gun skin and I don't know, a dance move or whatever. So, but Fortnite has its own legacy roadmap. Halo has a 20-year legacy of people wanting to wear certain ways or look certain ways, and obviously that has evolved. But now it's time to, I think it's time for Halo to kind of like take that and let us just buy one thing and let people really fully buy or customize their Spartan how they see fit, rather than these bundles and one item at a time, because now we're complaining about one item costs too much. We're arguing about the value of one item. And I think if you just kind of let everybody bundle everything and get it at a cheap price for all those items, if you really break it down, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I've said the same thing. That I didn't really have a huge problem with the pricing. I thought it was a little on the expensive side, but the problem I had is what I got for that $5, for that $10, for that $20. It was, yeah. If I'm going to spend $20, I want a full set of armor. I want the core, I want the arms, I want the legs, I want the helmet, everything. Anything that's tied to that set of armor, especially with the way they've got things set up.
I think a big crux of it is the customization that we get is not nearly as flexible as it was in Reach, and people were expecting that. So I think that's one underlying thing that needs to change. The pricing,
that's my big problem with it. Yes,
the pricing I thought was too expensive. I do like the idea of if you want one thing within a certain battle pass or bundle or whatever, let people buy it. If they end up buying to what the full thing is, just give them the full thing. If they end up paying as much in the pack for that full thing, and also make it to where you have maybe certain packs for cheap, like maybe they're super common type things, and maybe you can put a bundle of armor together for $20. So like, okay, you can get all of the Halo 3 customization for $20, and here's all the different armors and visors that you could get. Like make some, like, because the armor the customization that you get right out the gate is very limited. You get
it's pathetic.
Next to nothing. And like all the other games, you have a decent amount, and you can unlock a good range of selections in the matter of playing it for a week. There's nothing like that for Infinite. Like, there needs to be some level of, okay, here's a standard set that everyone can get either relatively easily through unlocking or for super cheap. And just like, here's just a full kind of basic, typical Halo armor set, your EVAs, your recons, for like $20. And like, okay, or give it some of to us as unlocks through multiplayer, and have those be persistent store items that you can go and get. It's like, okay, once you've played the game for this long and you've racked up this much XP or this many credits or something, this is something that you can always go back and get. I feel like there's not some kind of just standard set of customization that'd be common for everyone to get that we've had in past Halo games. That's just missing.
Yeah, I think the pricing, my stance on it is, and I'm sure this is exactly what the marketing team did, is they looked, for this case, because it makes them money, they looked at what other games do for their store items and where each thing was priced, like their tiers of priced items. They're like, okay, those are all the points we need to hit. And they did. I think just Halo fans kind of have this, like, I use the word a lot, but this legacy of customization that was locked behind this paywall now. And I mean, to me, I think every legacy piece of armor, core, basic, whatever, should just be available to people. Like every helmet, if it's been in a Halo game to date, fine. It's the skins, it's the coding, the patterns, the gun, all that. Profit there. That's where you get a profit.
So I think the new stuff is where they should really get the profit. Like,
yeah,
the coatings and colors, honestly, those should never be more than $3. Never more than, like, your basic colors should be $1 or $2
if they're basic. But like, if there's unique ones, like I think like a mega chrome or an animated one, like
because there's like two different
something like
there's
that.
like what, 2 purples or 2 blues, and what was it?
Yeah,
you're paying
like 5 different reds,
like $7 for a blue, for a shade of blue. It's like, no, like if there's something that's themed to a football team's colors or something like that, okay, maybe make that $5. But if it's just a normal color combo, that would be a pretty standard thing.
I think base colors, and I think they tried to cover the base color, but they didn't even have pink.
It was 6. It was 6 freaking colors.
Yeah, like I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't. Like,
I think they're missing the basics. I think so. For pricing, they're missing the basics. There should just be a set of basics that are super cheap. The things that are out with this event right now, the cyber event, like all the neon stuff, yeah, that makes sense. That's all new stuff. Make that a little bit more pricey. All the weapon charms, that's brand new to Halo. It's flashy. Make that a little more pricey. All the different emblems for all the teams that you want to support competitively, sure, make those a little pricey. You're supporting the team and you're supporting the game at the same time. Makes sense.
I mean, those are $10, and I think those are the best looking coatings in the game. Besides, I really like the Iron Man one, but like those are the best.
Yeah, but like for things that are distinct to things outside of Halo or that are new, that's where I think you should really try to make the money. Whereas things that are staple, that are legacy, those should be gimmies. Those should be your onesie twosie dollar type things. Make a red versus blue red. Make a Griff make a Griff orange for $2. It's like, I think there's some simple wins that could appease everybody, could appease the legacy fans. They're like, okay, I can get my core set of armor, and like, okay, so your core is armor, color. That's for legacy Halo fans, that's your customization. Basic sets of armor and color.
Just think about it this way. Red versus blue couldn't do all their like characters without spending money. And I don't even know if they could probably do all their characters right now because those colors aren't all available or haven't been available yet.
They probably got some unlocked from 343, honestly.
I mean, they probably did, but like
or if they're probably not even in Infinite yet, other than the couple of shorts that they've done, because there's not Forge available yet.
Yeah,
and
just like I just think about those kinds of things. I'm like, I mean, yeah, they probably get some special access, but like still, you can't replicate your favorite character from Red versus Blue right now without spending money or something. Like it's absurd. It just weird.
And where is the legendary unlock you get the Master Chief armor? That's been in every Halo game.
Yeah. I mean, their flagship armor seems to be the Mark 7, and you have to grind 90-something levels of Battle Pass to get it, or maybe it's 87 or something. The Mark 7 helmet, excuse me. The core you get right off the bat.
Anyways, we've ranted on the Battle Pass for quite some time.
Yep.
And we'll rant on it again. So.
The next time they change something.
Which will be, what, in a few days, it sounds like, at this point?
Well, next week. I think they'll probably slow down the cadence of the change, but...
We would love to hear your thoughts on what you think the Battle Pass should look like, or what you think would be best, so drop us a comment in our Discord or hit us up on social media. We'd love to hear what you think about that next time we talk about it, because we'll probably be talking about it for every podcast from here to the next season while they keep making changes. Anyways, did we get to your experience with Infinite and your...
briefly.
No.
Yeah, we've gone on so many tangents for the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Briefly, then we started talking about the store.
Yeah.
I really do try not to just be a ranter, but I think
we're passionate.
We're
not ranting. We're passionately
ranting.
There's
a level of passion and frustration here right now.
Yeah.
That I'm just... I feel... Okay. I'll just say, where I'm at with Halo Infinite right now is, unless there's an event going on, or I have a group of friends and BTB is fixed, I will not be playing right now. I completed the battle pass. I got the rank goal that I wanted to hit. I got into Onyx. I was happy. And now I just feel like I'm playing for nothing. Every time I get on, it's a sweat fest. I'm sorry, moving all the HUD elements to the bottom of the screen did not make the game less sweatier than Halo 5 for me. I just
didn't think it was supposed to, but okay.
No, that is in their blog.
Really?
They found in research that people said the HUD elements being at the top of the screen made matches feel sweatier, so they moved it to the bottom.
I thought they said eye strain.
I heard eye strain.
They said the matches felt sweatier. Eye strain is in there too, but I assure you,
I think they correlated some data that shouldn't have been correlated. I honestly don't think.
I don't judge the sweatiness of a match by where the HUD is. I'd like to know these people that they were talking to.
Yeah, I that's what I wanted to know. I was like, I've never felt that way about a HUD element, but
because honestly, when the game's like that, I'm barely having time to look at the HUD.
Yeah,
short of the radar.
Well, it felt like just such a silly comment, but
I think there's probably a psychological link between the eye strain and sweaty because you have to focus more. So I think I think they incorrectly attributed sweatiness to that element.
I've just never felt that with Halo's HUD and the information it presented. But who knows? But yeah, I've achieved everything.
It was a stupid change, honestly.
The mode I enjoy the most is ranked, but I get punished if playing ranked if I'm not playing with people in similar mindset, skill set, kind of stuff like that, because then I watch my rank go down and then I'm not having a good time. My friends are not having a good time because they're getting pulled into sweatier matches, even sweatier than they want to. And who wants to get stomped a majority of the games? And you go into the social playlists and you just, even in Fiesta, I'm like, why are these Fiesta matches so sweaty? Fiesta is supposed to be just stupid fun. I'm like, oh my gosh, every game comes down to 5 to 10 kills tops. And I don't know. I go into Fiesta and I just want to blow stuff up. There's just, without Big Team was kind of like the escape from it because there's so many players you can have that looser skill range of players. You can go in with all your friends, just have Big Team battle chaos fun. And with it not working, especially in bigger parties, it kind of destroyed that ability for me and my friend group. I'm just going to speak specifically. So right now, I'm just going to take a step back. I'm not saying I'm never coming back. I'll definitely come back and play the game. I do think there is a lot to build on here. I am concerned about how long it's going to take to build on that. But
it's just time for a breather.
Yeah, I completed all my season 1 stuff. I said from the get-go, I am for sure at least going to complete season 1 and see how I feel. And right now I feel exhausted. And I'm just not able to have that kind of casual fun experience with my friends. So right now I'm just gonna kind of just dabble in other games. And, I'll check in from time to time. I'm not saying I'm uninstalling the game or anything like that. Right now it's time to take a breather, enjoy some other games, see what 343 can cook up in the meantime. And, I'll be back on the grind for season 2 because I know they're going to have a new carrot to chase after. And I got 100 levels of battle pass that I'll need to do. And I'll look forward to that when we get there.
What do you think is making it so sweaty for you? Because, in a way, I don't know if 343 can really control that.
It is their skill-based matchmaking. It is. And I know that they have the data that says more players have fun
when it's more even.
Yeah. When it's more even. And I don't disagree with that data, but I do think when you're on a different side of the hill, that doesn't exist the same way, one way or the other. If you're a horrible player and you can't aim, you're not really having fun. But if you're on the other side of the hill where everybody, it's a smaller base, so you're kind of tighter in those groups, it's harder there. So I think I probably just fall on that side of it where it's a smaller base, so we don't have as many options and a bigger pool of players to pull from. Where I think if you're if you were in that like platinum golds segment, I think you actually got it pretty good right now. I think that's where you can have fun. You can, because I don't think you're there to like go pro, or I'm not going pro, but
you're just too good.
You're having fun. Like gaming is like when you Halo is your game that you're just gonna jump on and play with your friends and then sign off for the night and call it a good. But right now, I think that's the skill-based matchmaking. The system is working as designed, and I don't doubt that it's working to the way they need it to and should. But I do think it kind of just it caters to the mass, which it should. And I don't think I'm not quite in that mass right now.
Gotcha.
Well, I definitely say that I've played games both ways, and I will say that I'm an average player. Some nights I'm good, sometimes I'm utter crap.
Same.
But I know that I've played a game where it had skill-based matchmaking. Don't get me wrong. When I played the game, it was a tough game. But I never really considered it sweaty. I considered it a challenge. But then, same game mode, you take away skill-based matchmaking. Now I get this pro-level player playing against this average guy, and he's going 25 kills, second place, 4 kills. There's only one guy in that game that had fun. I'm sorry.
I totally agree with what you're saying. I don't disagree.
I understand that the 1%ers. Let me finish.
Haas is about to throw down his headset.
It does get frustrating having to play at that level every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not discounting that. And I just don't want people. I don't want 343 to change the ranking systems for a small part of the community, but it would be nice if they could find some other way to let that particular group of players have fun, like fixing Big Team. Oh, yeah.
Well, and this could be just a fact of there are so many players, so there's more players to match that are closer to you, and maybe once population kind of levels out, there will be more of those variances in social where it's a little bit more of that ebb and flow of, okay, it's not going to be exactly balanced every time, but you'll have some up games, you'll have some down games, and that's, for some people, that's where the fun is. It's like, okay, I can have a fun time and lose, and yeah, I lost, and I can have a fun time and I win. And yeah, it was cool to beat them by 12 points or something like that.
Well, I will have to say that ever since like Halo 4-ish, late Halo 3, Halo 4-ish, I've noticed that the skill-based matchmaking has gotten better in increments. I mean, so far, Halo 5's had the best version of the skill-based matchmaking for me. I felt that I had opponents that were challenging but not overpowering, which that makes the game fun for me. Some people call that sweaties. That makes the game fun for me. It gives me a challenge. And when I'm in multiplayer, that's what I want. I want to shoot people. But that's how I get better, is playing people that are in the same area as me, not necessarily the same level, but at least close. Because that lets me learn new techniques at the rate that I learn, which when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's slow.
I think
I just finished my rank matches in Halo Infinite, and I ranked in somewhere in gold. I think gold 4 or something like that. Where in Halo 5, I was in platinum. So, my skills are, I'm still working on the skills. So go ahead, Haas.
I think from my perspective, what I'd like to see at least tested, probably has been, They probably have the data that obviously I don't. But I think for social, if say you're a diamond player, you're going to match with, you're going to have like a low onyx, mostly diamond, and high platinum player pool to kind of like pull from. So you can kind of have some flexibility. You might get stomped here or there. You might stomp here or there, but most of your matches should be, let's say, in a 10 kill range if it was a Team Slayer match, right? And then if you're like you're an Onyx, you go to high Onyx all the way, I think through Diamond would be good. And then if you're Platinum, you get the Gold, you get a little Diamond. I think there's some crossover that you could have there.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Haas.
And I know that's there in ranked to a point, but I'm right now, I don't know if it's player pool wise or what, but it's rough. It's rough. I have friends that are similar rank to me even, but when they run with me versus when they run with other friends, they're not having a good time. And it's such a weird, it seems so tight, but you know, how a person did in their placement matches or whatever. However, the status pooled, people just aren't having that much fun. And it kind of stinks sometimes because especially when you party up, you want to have fun with your friends. That's ultimately what we all want to be doing when we're playing games online. And when people aren't doing that and you're part of that group, we've all had those parties where somebody is not having fun and it pulls a whole mood down and everybody either gets off or the party disbands. And then you're just like, well, that wasn't the way I wanted it to go.
Well, it's like when we do Master Chief Collection, everybody knows how I feel about Halo 3. Anyway, after we get, because
is that on the bingo card?
I don't care. I don't care what 343 says. The game's waited to play Halo 3.
I agree.
And after like the fourth Halo 3 match in a row, I will remove Halo 3 from the sort. I know everybody loves Halo 3, and that's fine. I will put up with it for a little while. But after 4 straight games, I have to take a break. Yeah,
it's the Master Chief Collection, not the Halo 3 collection.
Yeah. It's because it's frustrating to me, and it makes it where I'm not having fun. And the nice thing with Master Chief Collection is you have that ability. You can't do that in Halo Infinite. You can't just turn off the one thing that's bothering you.
For some reason, part of that to me seems it's a combination of mentality you go in with and then the game modes and maps that you're playing on. And obviously with the launch of multiplayer, they're probably wanting to target a specific style of play, but social should have a little bit more of those casual game modes, I think. So I think it's kind of just both of those things, really. It's kind of what's the mindset you're going into play, and then are there the game modes there that really support it? Because the difference on that for Halo 3 is basically, are you AR starts with normal movement and gravity, or are you BR starts with the MLG settings? And that was really the only difference. Like, it's a very small difference, but
it makes a huge difference in the gameplay.
I don't think ranking really pulls much weight in that. It's more just what's the style of the match that you're playing. And maybe that's where they need to work on some social stuff. And attrition feels kind of social in that regard.
Well, I will say that part of the problem is the lack of game modes. Or I should say the limited list of game modes we currently have.
We don't have things like infection where,
or
I'm not a griff baller, don't care for it, whatever. But
we just don't have
it was something different where we can just go and not your routine gameplay loop. And right now we just can't have that, and I think it's hurting the experience overall for the game.
Because that's where social thrived in games like Halo 3 and Halo Reach. stockpile, territories, headhunter, VIP, infection. It's like, okay, they're non-standard
Custom
competitive.
games.
Yeah. And I for some reason I think most Halo games have launched in this state where they focus on a core set of matchmaking experience at launch and then they slowly expand after launch. I don't think we've ever seen a Halo game really launch with a full set of social and ranked matches. It's always been
well, they've launched with more.
I mean, this game
more
released with 3.
Yeah, they've released with a lot more than Halo 5 and Infinite have. I mean, Halo 3, you had your social and you had your ranked playlists. You had capture flag. You had 2 capture flags, 2 flag, 1 flag. You had 1 bomb. You had assault.
Well, that's all customs. I'm talking matchmaking playlists.
No, I'm talking matchmaking. In matchmaking.
At the very start?
You had big team battle. Yes, at the very start.
You have Warzone.
No, well, I'm talking Halo 3.
Oh, sorry.
You had your big team battle. You had free for all. Infection may not have been there.
We had objective. We had
but yeah, you had a much wider variety of game types that you could play. Now, granted, yes, the map selection was smaller, but it was still bigger than what we have now. Which, granted, over time, it did grow. You are right, Dust. It did expand over time, but it started with more variety at the beginning. And then you get into custom games, and you had your Forge, you had all your custom game settings, all your custom game types that you could do that, 5 and Infinite have not launched with, which is a big chunk of it. I mean, even the just the custom game settings, those are super limited right now in Infinite, and they were the same way in Halo 5. So, it's been a while since I played that.
I believe you.
Reach head chess. Actually, I think I still got that on my file in my saved games. Maybe I'd have to look.
Well, either way, there's definitely a lack of playlists and game modes. I think that really could feed that social itch that I think Haas is kind of getting at. But I'm kind of in the camp with Haas. I like it being more evenly matched. I think it's a lot more fun experience to not get slammed or slam necessarily another team. So, yeah, and yes, reach had chess, not in matchmaking, but it did have chess. You are right about that, Halo Tutor.
I always thought it was impressive that you were able to set up a chess game in Halo.
And the rules there, I think the only thing that didn't work was when you get into a checkmate, it just didn't really do anything.
No, it didn't. But I mean, who is it? Who was that? Actually made it where you can play Rochambeau and Reach.
Yeah, someone modded that in.
No, it wasn't a mod. No, it was not a mod.
Did they use the custom?
They used Forge to literally build an engine that you could play Rochambeau.
Huh.
And get a somewhat random answer.
Okay.
God, who was that? Something Duck. What was it?
Pete the Duck? Psycho Duck.
Pete the Duck, yeah.
Gosh, you guys are right. They did have a lot of playlists. Team Slayer, Social Skirmish, Rumble Pit, Lone Wolves, Multi-Team, Rocket Race, Social Doubles.
Like I said, that's the biggest problem. And
right, 343. We need Halo 3. We need Halo 3 style of playlist.
Is a problem. That in itself creates a different problem. Because now you've stretched your community across a wide range of playlists, so each playlist has a relatively low population.
Well, with it being the largest launch of any Halo title, I think there's enough players.
At launch, there were.
Yes.
Now, there's not.
Yes. But I mean, if you have 300,000 players still playing, or is it 30,000?
Yeah. Well, they had 200,000.
So it's 30,000.
Just on Steam, right?
It's probably 30,000 now, or 90,000. One of the 90,000.
But anyway,
I mean, that's a lot of players that you could still fill out a good 10, 12 hoppers.
Well, what I'm saying is, like in the team objective playlist, you have 3 game types?
Oddball, capture flag,
oddball, and strongholds.
Yeah, that one.
Where in team objective on Halo 3, how many did you have?
A lot.
Like I said, I'm not saying they needed to create individual playlists for every single game mode, but it would be nice to have more variety.
Well, and
same in the Slayer playlist, they have more variety of Slayer type games.
And not to mention more maps.
Definitely more maps.
I certainly think there's a element of this that is contributed by a lack of modes and maps. Because once it becomes the same experience over and over again, it does feel like a grind. It does feel sweaty. It feels like you're not having fun. Like it's not. So I think that's definitely a part of it too.
On a good note, I finally unlocked the achievement where you kill 3 people with the oddball.
Congrats.
I hid in the hallway on recharge. Smack, smack, smack.
Nice.
I wasn't playing the brightest team.
Mine too.
I got 2 achievements tonight.
The funniest thing, okay, on recharge, you have the big hall that wraps around or over to the sword room.
Yep. Anyway,
the little window up there that's you can hop up to get grenades. Yeah, I was hiding right there. And, my teammates were down below me defending, but like just 3 times in a row. I mean, literally in a row, the enemy team hops up there. I'm right there at the door. Smack. I mean, they're not even done with their clamber yet, and I'm beating them over the head with the ball.
Someone doesn't know how the oddball damage works.
Throw a grenade up there or something,
Or just say, thanks for the achievement.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, I thought that one was going to be a lot more of a struggle to get for me. I mean, not like double kill with Spartan Laser difficult, but
I haven't even looked at what the multiplayer achievements actually are. I mean, I know I got quite a few. I got 2 of them tonight, which was complete a limited time challenge and then get a back smack with someone that was scoped in, which are pretty standard ones.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that one yet.
I had a active camo, and I have the challenge for the event where it's back smack 10 enemies, and I was on the one with the labs, like the little greenhouse lab in the middle type thing. I don't know what the map's called.
Yeah.
I just ran for camo every time because the other team didn't go for it, and I just walked around the map. And if you walk around, you don't show up on radar. So whenever I saw someone, I would just go up and backsmack them. So, the plan was to talk about 360 game sunsetting because I was waiting for Haas to be back on that. But we went on a whole big tangent about the state of Halo Infinite matchmaking and the Battle Pass. So we'll attempt that again next week. But there were a couple things that I wanted to touch on before we wrap up the podcast. There's a new article over on Halo Waypoint because there's going to be a new little trailer coming out this Sunday during AFC. And there's an article to go with it, the Silver Debrief, which they're kind of talking about the Silver timeline of Halo.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, the TV show is in the same universe, but with some differences. So it's going to have a lot of the same underlying parts of the Halo universe tied into the story, and there's going to be influences across both sides of the fence from the TV show and the games, but it's not going to be fully game canonical. So there's things that they've changed that will not match up with what people are used to in the game lore.
Which is understandable, being that it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of Halo's established canon doesn't translate to video format that well. So at least as an interesting story. So I'm interested to see how far they diverge off of the existing path. The one thing that they did say in the article is they're doing their best they can to have the two run, side by side.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff from the Silver timeline can make its way into the, the
official
core
timeline.
canon. And then there's going to be some stuff in the core canon that makes it into the Silver timeline. They talked about, maybe weapons or vehicles crossing over or, some other things. So I think from what I've read in the article, it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job of making it to where, even the hardcore lore nuts for, the Halo universe will enjoy the TV show.
I think it should just be enjoyable to watch, hit some of the key notes of the Halo story, and Halo fans will be happy. Maybe somebody gets an interest in Halo and, finds books or, whatever. Maybe games aren't their median, but, they'll find something that draws them in. And I do hope the show is successful. Halo fans have been waiting for something like this for a long time.
Yeah.
Still not the movie we still want, but this is a good step in that direction if there is a good success here. So
I don't know, the whole Forward Unto Dawn thing, it kind of scratched that itch for me. I don't know about anybody else.
Forward Unto Dawn was great.
I liked it.
I'm not going to talk about the other one.
Yeah,
Forward
we
Unto
don't
Dawn
mention the other one.
Yeah,
that's Fight Club. We don't mention that. The Forward Unto Dawn series, which 90-minute, it kind of scratched that itch for the Halo movie for me. Would I love to see more? Yes, I'm a Halo fan. Yeah. I'll take whatever you'll give me, as long as it's not the Fall of Reach, the animated series. Anyway,
I didn't mind that.
I didn't mind it that much, but
could have been better.
They went out of their way to change facts that didn't need changed. They talked about it being on a grand scale as far as this TV show, and I believe it, because just seeing what they've put out so far via, the trailers and just some of the pictures that have made it out onto the internet, it looks freaking awesome.
It does.
I just want this show to be on at least the level of The Witcher on Netflix. I think if they can do that, even though that's not technically a video game show, if it's that level of production and that quality of storytelling and everything else, I think Halo fans will be happy. And that's what I'm hoping for. And until I get bored out of my mind with it, I'm going to remain hopeful.
For all the lore nerds kind of reeling it in that it is not going to be lore accurate, 100%. I think that'll help people really just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, and the people that stuff is probably going to bother, they all know now. And I think the more casual Halo fan who's just going to be like, oh, cool, a Halo show, I'll watch that. They won't care. They're just
until they get interested in something they start talking
and
about, and they go to the Halo fans like, actually, that's not what happens in the canon.
Yeah, all those Halo wiki sites are going to need like a big tab.
They probably
Silver
do.
Timeline. And then
I'm going to message CIA right now and actually ask them.
Well, like I said, it depends on
Silver Timeline tag on the wiki.
And call it out.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see how far they diverge. Because, with this TV show, they have the opportunity to really tell a whole new story and not really cross over a lot of the established lore with, other than with like characters. So, it's not something that they have to like totally retcon something that's already in the universe. There's plenty of space to work around in. Pardon the pun, but anyway. There's a lot of there's a lot of time in the Halo universe that we don't.
Well, and this may help fill out some of it. I mean, that's one of the things they mentioned in the article, is this gives us a platform to explore some of those areas. I mean, the books do that. We know the books are canonical with the games, at least. I mean, people haven't had really problem with Halo Legends not being lore accurate. So I think just
it's not lore accurate.
I remember right. Oh. Anyways, so there's that. Continuing updates for matchmaking issues, and the battle pass system continues to go on. I think those are kind of the biggest news stories in Halo right now. There's also the HCS qualifiers that are happening every week. The North American qualifiers or open brackets are happening right now, actually. I think they're in their finals for today. Okay.
They're in the losers bracket.
That's happening right now. Not much else, I think, going on really in the Halo space. Maybe next time we'll actually talk about 360 game sunsets. See if we can put off Battle Pass discussions for another day. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. That all depends on what.
Right.
That all depends on what happens between now and then. What changes they make.
I mean, for everyone that's out there listening, we're passionate folks. We have some legacy niches on their back that obviously not everyone's going to share, and we are more than open to hear your opinions and talk about them. Everyone's opinion does matter. Just be respectful about it. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop us a line on Discord. Tag us in social media. We'd love to hear what you guys think. I'll put this out there again, just because we haven't gotten to it yet. But if you have any fond memories of playing Halo on your 360 for Halo 3, Halo 4, or Halo Reach, let us know. We'll hopefully talk about that next week, actually. And that'll be our topic for next week, and hopefully start diving into campaign discussions, because that's long overdue too for Halo Infinite. It's not going to be a spoiler at that point, so we're not going to mark it as a spoiler. It'll be nearly 2 months.
No, if you haven't played campaign by now, it's on you.
Yep. I gave everybody till January 1st, and I gave you 27 extra days. You're welcome.
All right. Did I miss anything else, guys? New ways? Okay.
Nothing from
You
me.
can check us out on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also check us out on YouTube. We also have our Twitch, which we stream on every Thursday night at 8:30 for our podcast. For those that are listening right now, thank you so much for coming on over. For those that listen to us on the download, you can find us on iTunes, Amazon Podcast, Facebook Podcast, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. If there's a place that we are not, let us know, and we will work to get our podcast on the platform of your choosing. Also, you can check us out on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Fraggin' Friday. Vote for that is also in our Discord, podtacular.com/Discord. And then on Sundays is our Achieving Halo. I am currently playing with Bobby, trying to go through Halo Wars on 360 and get the general rank achievement. Spoiler, there's not a strategy guide for Halo Infinite. That is true.
And
first time we haven't seen a Prima guide for Halo.
No, there's not.
It's kind of sad. Yeah.
I'm kind of depressed.
Did too.
I wanted to add to my collection.
Got to play that graduation song as we go on.
Oh, jeez. Nice. You can check us out on yeah, I got the 3, so never mind. I got the 3.
Yep.
Again, for Discord, that's where most of the community hangs out. If you've got a cool little clip that you have from Halo Infinite, or a screenshot, or a cool little Halo story, we'd love to hear about it. And we'll talk about it during our Tales from the Foxhole segment, which we actually kind of forgot to do at the beginning of the show, because we just got distracted a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah. Battle Pass. Big team issues still. Pens posted a little video clip, or actually just a screen. No, it is a clip. It's a OneDrive link, and it looks like a picture on Discord. But he has a cool little clip that he's shared with us on our Discord. I think that was the only new thing today. Yeah. So that's our Discord, podtacular.com/Discord. If you want to support the show, there are a number of ways you can do that. Best way of all is to just share us with your friends, your family, anyone else who'd be interested in Halo podcasts or hearing people rant about the Battle Pass. Try to dial that down over the next few episodes as much as we can. Just happens to be the talk of the town for the Halo community right now, so that's where most of our attention is. You can support us also by becoming a subscriber on Twitch. You can also support us over on Patreon, podtacular.com/Patreon. Get access to our podcast live stream VODs from Twitch. Also, shout out to Confowl, Pins, and Prestige for being loyal patrons over there. Many about to go on 2 years, actually. And we also have PayPal if you choose to donate to us directly, podtacular.com/donate. I will be hopefully playing some more Infinite. We'll see if we have Infinite up on the game night for tomorrow. For those listening to download, see if we'll have it on for next week. If you see us on, let us know. Gents, it's been good. Hopefully we can actually get some Halo Infinite on all three of us together at some point. I don't think we've actually done that yet since the game is launched.
Haas doesn't like to play with us.
You guys are over that side, and I'm over on this side. And those hours.
Hey, I'm sorry you're on the wrong coast.
I'll be remedying that.
Anyways, have a good night, everybody, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And until next time, keep on fragging them trucks.